Hello everyone. Once again, my name is Michael Lee. Um, Today I want to talk about letting fathers be fathers. This one I label "Let Fathers Be Fathers." This is a very serious topic for our community because I know from experience how it feels to be a fatherless child. As a kid and for most of my youth, I see my community plagued with a bunch of fatherless children. This absence of a father figure in a child's life can be very detrimental to the mental health and upbringing of a child. I, being a fatherless child myself, can speak from my own experience of how it affected me. Being a young boy, growing up, trying to figure out what it means to be a man, I looked to the older men in my neighborhood. Unfortunately, the few men who were actually fathers and law-abiding citizens did not take the time out of their day to talk to the youth in my neighborhood. We rarely ever got a chance to see these men unless they were coming from or going to work. You know who was there to give us guidance and instruction? The hustlers, the gangsters, and the pimps. The hustlers, the gangsters, and the pimps were always more than very willing and able to give us advice on how to be a man, and in most cases, a real nigga. They told us that the most important thing in the world was first money. And if you didn't have any money, you had nothing, and you was a nobody. Secondly, it told us that you must be respected, and that respect was earned, not given, which I agree with. The thing is that they taught us that the way to get this respect was through violence and super aggressive behavior. Lastly, but not least, they told us that we should sleep with as many women as we can. To have a high body count was an accomplishment in my neighborhood. This created a culture of money-driven, sex-thirsty, and extremely violent young men and boys. Am I wrong? I think not. I was one of them. I won't speak too much on how this affects young girls because I'm not one, nor have I ever been one. From what I have seen and what has been expressed to me by the females that I have had the privilege to have open and honest conversations with, they often look to the streets or these same individuals I previously described to, in a sense, step in to the empty space left by their absentee fathers. They look to them to be their protectors from the other money-driven, sex-crazed, and extremely violent men. They look to them to be their providers and overall sense of security. This created a dynamic for disaster. We have scared, vulnerable young girls paired with violent, sex-thirsty, do-anything-for-money young boys. This is part of the reason for a lot of adolescent pregnancies, a lot of adolescent sexual assaults, and another generation of fatherless kids, and also the spread of sexually transmitted diseases amongst the youth. Like I always say, I do not know much about the way women teach their daughters, but from the mentality of the women I have come across, not all, but the majority of the women I have come across, the mentality is that a man isn't anything and that they are only good for what they can provide you with, which is only fuel to the fire that is burning down our communities and destroying our people. Now, at the beginning of this, I said, I labeled this, let fathers be fathers. I said all that to say this. As a child and a younger adult, I realized there were a lot of fatherless households because of mass incarceration, drug addiction, and to be frank, men were literally just abandoning their kids, leaving the mother to fend for herself and for the child or children. This led to the destruction of our communities because there was no love to guide us. I mean, like I explained, there was guidance, but that guidance was not by love. It was by men looking to take advantage of the next generation who were under them and more than likely these men were misled themselves. Today, that dynamic is increasingly changing. The women are growingly becoming the reason for kids not having a father present in their life. How? One might ask. It is because, like I explained earlier, a lot of women have taken on this mentality that men are only good for what they can provide them with. They enter into situations and relationships looking for nothing more than financial gain or a come up. When the man separates from this woman, for whatever reason, it does not mean he does not want to be a part of his child's life. That means he no longer wants to be a part of that woman's life. And it simply means that for whatever reason, the relationship didn't work out. What I'm finding out from the vast majority of my friends and family members, and just men that I come into contact with in general, is that the woman will deprive them of seeing their child if they are not in a relationship with them. This is creating a bunch of fatherless children looking to fill the void, and often the woman will deceive the child into thinking that the father doesn't want anything to do with them. This often leads to what many of my friends and family had to go through, which is they end up having to take the mother of the child to court, either for rights of custody or at a minimum, visitation rights. The woman will flat out tell the father of the child, if you're not giving me no money, you are not seeing your child. Do you not understand that a child, while I completely understand costs money, which you can attain through legal avenues, a child literally just wants to see their father and have their father present in their life. By denying them to have their father present in their life, you are creating trauma for your child, which can manifest into many different things, such as depression and insecurity issues, just to name a few. Or like myself, for example, being a fatherless child for a long time made me very callous towards men in general. I had built up a tough exterior, and at the very same time, it left me looking for love in all the wrong places and in all the wrong faces. We have to learn that kids are blessings from God, not a way to get a paycheck from someone. We also have to let kids be kids and leave the adult stuff to the adults. Last but not least, you have to stop using your kids as a pawn, because in the game of chess, the pawns get killed, and very few ever get a chance to evolve into something more. So if your man or the father of your children wants to be present in his child's life, and this man is not a negative influence, ladies, please, let fathers be fathers. My name is Michael Lee. This has been a Real Righteous production. Peace and blessings to everyone.